Have you thought about moving to Frisco, Texas? Well, today we're going to give you 10 reasons why you shouldn't move to Frisco, Texas. So stay tuned.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Patrice.
And today we are going over the 10 reasons why you should absolutely not even consider moving to Frisco, Texas.
No.
But before we get into the 10 reasons, let's talk about who we are.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So we are real estate agents. We own a real estate team that specializes in all of Texas.
Yep.
And if this is your first time on our channel, we do a couple videos a week of what it's like to live, work, and play right here in North Texas. Mm-hmm. And so don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that bell, so you're alerted every time we do a video.
Yep. And don't forget to give us a call, text, or email.
You've got mail.
What you got to do to get a hold of us, just get a hold of us.
Now, why would some real estate agents tell you 10 reasons why not to move?
Yeah, I know, especially when it's the city we live in.
That's crazy, right? But in all seriousness, there are some pros and cons of living right here in Frisco, Texas, or in Texas in general. And we wanted to kind of get through because, you know, if this may not be the right place for you.
No.
So if any of these 10 kind of hit some, poke the bear a little bit, then you're going to realize real quick that maybe this is not the place for you.
Yeah.
So
some pros are going to be cons for some, and some cons are going to be pros. So
absolutely,
just pick and choose.
Absolutely. And we're going to dive into one of the, these are in no real particular order,
No.
right? So, I mean, it all depends. But we're going to dive into number 10, just because of the climate. When we're actually recording this, it's mid-November. We just had an election. And so we're going to just jump into the first one, which is
that Frisco is pretty conservative.
Yeah, so Frisco it's split actually into, it resides in two counties. Mostly in Collin County, but also in Denton County as well. And both of those counties have voted conservative for the last 6 elections, presidential elections. And maybe even beyond that, I don't know. But it's a pretty conservative spot. I know we get a lot of people moving here from California, from Seattle, all over the New York. Everybody's moving here. And there's some people here in Texas that actually are a little bit nervous that we're changing, you know, that Texas is becoming a purple state or whatnot. But what we have found in our experience is that the people that are leaving these areas are actually leaving because of some of the local politics and whatnot. And they are trying to find a more conservative area. So this particular place, Frisco, is pretty conservative.
Yep.
So this whole, and North Texas is. So if you're ultra liberal, then you know you may have a little bit harder time to adjusting. But like I said, it's a melting pot. So you have people of all kind of political views and whatnot.
Yes.
But conservative does. Frisco does lean conservative.
Yep.
So anyway, so what's number 9?
Number 9 would be traffic. We do have some traffic because we are continually growing.
Yeah, and I would say the traffic here is unlike it is like in California or the coast. There's no comparison as far as that's concerned. But it's more detours and construction, you know, changing 2 lanes into 1 lane because they're expanding the highway or that sort of thing. It's such a growing, Frisco is such a growing city. When we moved here in 2006, it was like 60,000 people, and now we just broke the 200,000 population.
Yeah.
And that build out will probably going to be right around between 300 and 350. So there's still a lot of growth.
And they didn't plan for that exactly, so we're expanding the roads, and that takes time. And but it goes pretty fast. I mean, I don't notice it too bad.
Yeah, and I don't think you can really blame anybody. I mean, Frisco's one of the fastest growing cities for the better part of a decade. So it's you know. It's pretty hard to kind of match that growth.
Yeah, but you know what? With people working from home more now, we've found it's a lot less. So
for sure,
you know,
for sure. So
it is what it is.
It is what it is, but it's one of those things that you know that you need to be prepared for.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, number 8.
Number 8 would be, this is a very family-friendly town. So if you're a single out here, you may not like it because there's a ton of kids and a bunch to do for kids, and it's kind of a cool place if you have kids.
Yeah, it's very family friendly. Yeah. So we have a lot of millennials that are calling us, and when we give them the tour and stuff like that, they're just not ready to kind of settle down in those suburbs. And Frisco, Texas is definitely kind of like you said, a family friendly city. So when you go out to eat, kids are running around. You know, it's just when you have one of the best school districts in the state.
Everybody wants to be here.
Everybody wants to be here, and its ideal client is our family. So those are the people that are attracted to Frisco, Texas.
Right. That's right.
Now let's get into one of the ones that absolutely boggles my mind. When we moved here, I was thinking. Well, anyway, what is the next one?
The next one is we actually have much smaller yards than people think. We are not all ranches and acre land lots and things like that.
It's nuts. When I moved, I mean, you look at Texas on a map and it's so big, and you think, oh man, these things must be sprawled out on half-acre, acre lots, etc., and it just isn't. No. They're normal postage size lots within communities. So it's shocking. And especially one thing, when we moved out here, there's a thing called rear entry. There's two things, rear entry and then front entry. And what that means is your garage type, right? So your garage is in the front. Obviously you have a bunch of backyard. All that space is in your backyard. But on the rear entry houses, which was real popular when we moved out here in the mid 2000s, that driveway cuts off half of your backyard. So it looks cool from the front when you see just no garages and whatnot. It's very picturesque, right? But as far as functionality on your backyard space, if that's what you want, you want to put in that pool, etc., you probably want to be in a front-facing house.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So that brings us to the next one, which is
HOAs.
Yeah.
A lot of people move here that don't want HOAs.
Yeah, we get a lot of calls and comments, and people are saying, I want no HOAs if at all possible. And I'm like, well.
Yeah. But HOAs around here really are not as strict as you think. Some are stricter than others, but for the most part, you could pretty much do anything you want, which is, but it keeps everything pretty too by having the HOAs and,
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that you can't do, they're going to put limits on, parking your RV in front of your house. You're not going to be able to stage that thing for 2 weeks, going on a camping trip, or have your boat or something like that. There's storage places, and like I said, like Patrice was saying, there's HOAs that are more strict than others, and that's why you need good agents like us to kind of help you and point you if that's a real concern. We can point you in the right direction and get you hooked up. But yeah, we are full of HOAs because it's a growing new city. So all the new build and all the new construction is just going in the HOA community. I mean, we are very much a suburb. So
yeah.
Now, let's get into the next one. Since we are real estate agents, what's the next one, Patrice?
The next one would be our housing costs.
Yes.
They're not as low as people like to think they are, but they're not terribly bad depending on where you're coming from. I mean, we're up in our average is what?
I mean, if you're looking for brand new construction, you're not gonna find anything really less than $500,000.
Right. Yeah.
But
here in Frisco.
Here in Frisco, Texas. Yeah. So, but with that, you get, like I said, some of the best schools, etc. So, the older construction, you can find stuff in the 300s still, but the average price, I would say, is about $450,000. Is kind of the average price, and people have a kind of a sticker shock. I think in talking to a lot of people that are moving here, they give us a fairly small budget. I call it the Texas budget, right? So they're moving out here thinking that they're going to get this 3,000 square foot house on a half acre for $300,000, and that just isn't the case if you're looking right here in Frisco.
If you want,
if you want some outskirts, yeah, we can get you that sort of thing. But yeah, people are often shocked, and they come here with one budget and leave with another. So it's just one of those things that you need to be prepared for. If you're looking for Frisco, it's going to cost you probably a little bit more than you're thinking.
Yep.
Now, we have so many people moving here from all over the place. That brings us to number 4.
Which is, we are a very diverse city.
Yeah. Now, for most people, that's a pro. But if you are, I mean, people are shocked at just how diversified Frisco is. Like I said, people are moving here from all over the world.
Yes.
But definitely all over the country. And I don't know. We joke that we know like one person that is actually from Dallas, and that's our lender's wife, right? But
I have a friend too that is, but yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. But I mean, it's very rare. Most people are from other places. So, like Patrice and I are originally from Southern California. There's so many people from all over that are moving here, and it just creates a diversified.
In fact, we have a client that is from the UK, and so that's pretty far.
Yeah, that's pretty far. So and just
so
people are shocked. So, but what's awesome about it is that there's so much food options. There's great. I mean, it's just great, in our opinion, to be around diversified people, you know, and have a diversified community.
Learned a lot.
Yeah. So but if that is something that would be a concern to you, just understand that Frisco is pretty diversified. Now let's get into the big one. One of the big things that we hear all the time, the time is what?
Our property taxes.
Property taxes, right? Property taxes are so high. They are in Texas. I mean, if you're comparing them to most places around the country, property taxes are a little bit higher. They range anywhere between 2 and 3% in North Texas, but one of the things that you need to keep in mind in Frisco has one of the actual lowest property taxes around here, and it's just a fraction over 2%, which is really crazy, right? So, but you have to be prepared. On a $500,000 house, you're going to be paying $10,000, $11,000 in property taxes.
Right, yeah, but you know what, we don't have state income tax,
Correct.
So there's that kind of help balance it out.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is that, you know, states need money coming in through taxes, right? And if you don't have a state income tax, they're going to get at you one way or another. So you're going to have sales tax on everything here, and you're also going to have higher property taxes.
That's
so
correct.
Just is what it is. But like I said, most of that property tax actually goes to the schools, and it's one of the best school districts in the entire state.
So just watch them being built. It's so fantastic.
Yeah. It's a really good spot. So, but anyway, if property taxes are a big issue with you, Frisco may not be the place for you.
Yeah.
Now, I know this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, the next one is the bugs.
The bugs.
Now, we don't see them very often, really. But when we do, they can be fairly large. In fact, we were out with clients and I took a picture of a spider.
I'm going to
show the spider.
You're going to scare the people, Patrice.
I'm putting the spider up above so you can see how
it's very
big
rare,
this thing
and that
is.
was more out in the country.
And it's like the size of my hand. It was the size of my hand. It was.
They're not like that though.
No, I haven't seen anything like that.
No, but you hear about snakes and stuff. Like in the suburbs, you don't get that as much unless you're in a real construction, like brand new community where they're tearing up the dirt and that sort of thing. But yeah, there are bugs. I know that when I love hanging out on the patio and that sort of thing, and I will get eaten up by these invisible ants or something. I don't know what they are, but they just attack my ankles.
And they don't bother me at all.
They don't bother. So I don't know if it's a blood type thing or what, but yeah, there are bugs around here, but there are awesome pest control companies that could kind of take care of it. So we really haven't experienced a ton of bugs inside our house or anything like that. We do have little geckos.
Oh yeah,
those things are pretty cool.
Yeah, and they'll eat the little bugs that are in the house. They're really actually cute.
Yeah. So I mean, there are little strange things. There are what are those things that make all the noise in the trees?
Oh, cicada. Yes, the cicadas come out every 20 years. So but we get them every year because it's how that works. But they're very loud and they make this they'll freak people out.
Yeah.
If you're not used to them.
Yeah.
and they're ugly if you get the chance to look at them.
and I've seen some big crickets.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're
There's
huge.
some big crickets.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, it's just one of those things that you get used to. But yeah, there are definitely bugs in Texas. And then that brings us to our last one, which is what?
People seem to think we have a problem with our weather, that it gets really, really hot.
Oh, it does.
It does.
It does get hot. It does get hot.
Yeah.
And Patrice,
I love it,
but
so I can.
But it does get hot.
Yeah.
So July, August, September, it's going to be hot. It's going to be 100 degrees. There's going to be a little bit of humidity and all that stuff. And it's just one of those things that you prepare for. If you have a pool, it just is what it is. But the other 9 months out of the year, we have very mild winters. You have 9 months of really cool weather. Like today, it's 75 degrees outside, right? In the middle of November.
And sunny, and no wind, so it makes it really nice.
I mean, it's an awesome place, except for those 3 months. Those 3 months are hot.
Yeah, well, people seem to think we have a lot of humidity, and we do at times, but that's usually when a storm's rolling in. But for the most part, we really don't. We're not like Houston and that whole area, so it's not as bad as people seem to think it is as far as humidity goes.
There are worse places for humidity, but in the main thing, like I said, is the heat in July, August, and September. It's just nonstop.
And it doesn't cool off at night, so it stays in the 80s, 90s at night. So that's a bummer.
Yeah. So
but unless you're out in it, then that's cool.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's I mean, that going in. It shouldn't be a big shock to anybody that is moving here to Texas that it definitely gets hot. It's the South. It is what it is. So. Anyway, that is our top 10 of the 10 reasons why you should absolutely not move to Frisco, Texas. Again, hope you like this video. Hit the like button. That really helps our other people see the video. YouTube seems to like that algorithm.
Yep.
And definitely comment below. That also helps us out quite a bit.
And if you decide that those 10 things aren't going to scare you, give us a call, text, or email. Whatever you got to do to get a hold of us, just get a hold of us.
Until next time, I'm Andy.
And I'm Patrice.
Take care.